We all respect Joe, and he's a little bit. We all respect Joe, and he's a little bit more liberal than. That's okay. I have a lot of friends that are liberal, but Joe is an amazing guy.
That was President Donald Trump with Joe Rogan in the Oval Office on Saturday. A bit of a surprising photo op given Rogan's recent criticism of the conflict in Iran, saying that some Trump supporters felt betrayed by it.
Most people that voted for Trump or wanted Trump to be in office, one of the things that was attractive was this no more wars.
Sure, of course.
And now we're in one of the craziest ones.
Now, despite being at odds with the White House on the war, Rogan was standing near Trump at an executive order signing expediting the FDA review of certain psychedelics as therapy drugs, even claiming the move was his idea.
I want to tell everybody how this happened. I sent President Trump some information. The text message came back, sounds great. Do you want FDA approval? Let's do it. It was literally that quick.
Before the 2024 election, the influential podcaster endorsed Trump and hosted him on his show, a moment that still seems to be top of mind.
Joe Rogan is a fantastic person. We did a little interview before the election. We had over 300 million people. And I said, oh man, I hope Kamala doesn't do it. And she didn't. We all respect Joe, and he's a little bit more liberal than.
Shalom, all praises, honors, and glories be to Yahweh Ba'Shemel Shai, Ba'Shemel HaKodash. I'm honest to my apostles and elders of Millstone. They're doing it real well. Peace, blessings be unto the elect. This is Brother Dawada from GMS Detroit Camp, coming at you with another video through the spirit and power. Yahweh Ba'Shemel Shai, Ba'Shemel HaKodash. Today I want to do a brief, quick hit, and then also in transit, going into that short clip that you saw at the beginning of this lesson. Lord's will this video be edifying. All right. And the title of this video will be Joe Rogan. Yep, he is juiced in. Lord's will this video be edifying. You saw the opening clip, and pretty much Joe Rogan is all buddy-buddy with DJ Trump. And ultimately, you know, he's juiced in. He's juiced in. He's no righteous individual. He's not righteous. He ain't special. He ain't, you know, some guy that's trying to do good for everyone. No. You know, Joe Rogan, you know, he's this big, you know, TV, you know, TV guy. I believe he's over, the MMA or the UFC, one of the two. You know, or he's a podcaster. Yeah, podcast host. Yeah, that's what he is. You know. Can't remember the name of that UFC dude. But anyways, he's a podcaster, Joe Rogan, and he's before DJ Trump. Apparently he has DJ Trump's phone number, his direct contact. So I should tell you he's juiced in, you know, and ultimately these different celebrities, these different entertainers, they're all, you know, linked. They're all juiced in. They don't, you know, stand independently and you know, report whatever they want to report or do whatever they want to do. No, they have handlers. They have things that they can say, things that they can't say, you know, so on and so forth. You know, and here it is. This guy, he done made it to the big leagues. He's in the Oval Office. Not, you know, they don't invite just anybody into the Oval Office, let alone DJ Trump speaking highly of him. You know, it definitely raises an eyebrow. It definitely raises an eyebrow, you know, so, yeah. You know, here it is, Joe Rogan, he criticized the war in Iran. Yeah. Now, here it is, you know, you have this whole, you know, conflict in Iran. Now, beforehand, he mentions that, well, or the lady that's speaking, she says, well, you know, we were promised no more war underneath DJ Trump. Well, that was a lie. That was a lie. He brought another war. The scripture says in Psalm 140, continually are they gathered together for war. Esau cannot help himself. All he knows is war, destruction, death, right? Pursuant to Revelation 6 and 4. All right, he's that red horse, all right? Now, red horse was given a sword that he may take away peace from the earth. All right, and that's what this bastard has done. He's taken away peace from the earth by way of his sword. all right? And he took great pleasure in doing so, you know, which is ultimately why, you know, which is ultimately why the world is in shambles right now, you know, because this devil is the one that's in rulership, and this devil has literally, you know, taken over, all right? And if there's something that he wants, he takes it by force, by the force of the sword, all right? He'll literally rape, rob, murder, you know, lie, cheat, you know, steal, all in the name of getting what he wants, all right? He's not a righteous man. He's not a moral man. And he sold you false promises, and you dullards, you fell for it. You know, you fell for it. Here it is. He made you all these different promises. You know, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Oh, the economy is so great right now. And oh, my goodness, you wouldn't believe this, that, and the third. And, you know, everything's all good and whatnot. But then, you know, people ain't doing too good, though. You know, in reality, people are suffering. You know, people are literally suffering right now. But he wants to sell you this false hope, this false dream, you know? Talking about there was going to be no more war. Not with you in office. That's all you know. All right?
That's okay. I have a lot of friends that are liberal, but Joe is an amazing guy.
That was
And look, Joe has controlled opposition. Don't be surprised. I would not be surprised if Joe Rogan was juiced in. All right? I would not be surprised. He's in the White House. He has the president's direct contact. Trump is speaking well of him? Come on now. You know? Read some of these comments as I reach my destination. See, then people really think that this whole Congress thing and, well, Congress, well, the Senate House, well, the president, man, all that stuff is just hogwash. It's just something to keep you busy, something to keep you thinking, something to give you some illusion as if there's some sort of, you know, righteousness or fairness or justness or equity. There is no equity or justice here. All right? You know, people are saying Rogan is a joke. Let's see. Says criticize the war, then showed up next to the guy who started it. Make it make sense. What WTF is this world? Who are these people who set their political compass by Joe Rogan? You know? Here it is. If this guy is so highly critical of Trump, what is he doing in the Oval Office? People are saying speechless. People are saying he's compromised. People are saying, what do they have on him? You know? People are actually disappointed. You know? This guy changes his opinion of Trump every 5 business days. You know? Controlled opposition. You know, so there you go. You know, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was juiced in. I wouldn't be surprised. You know, and ultimately, you know, something is going to happen that really shakes up this society. You know, we don't know exactly what it is, but we know that every 10 years there's always a major crisis. All right, 2000 to 2010, there was 9/11. From 2010 to 2020, there was the C-19. From 2020 to 2030, there's, you know, Esau, he's not intelligent, he's not super smart, he's not In other words, he's not super creative. He just has a formula that works, and he just spams it. You ever play that fighting video game, and you got an individual that only knows one combo, but the combo is so rigged and broken. Once he gets that combo off, you're through. That's Esau. He has that one thing, and he just keeps doing it. He's a spammer. So, there's going to be something else. So once that happens, it'll shake this whole place up. And then once this place gets shaken up, then comes the time period of Jacob's trouble. Ultimately, Esau, all right, has been given power over the earth. Job 9:24 says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. The wicked is whom? The Edomites. Malachi 1:4. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Exactly. So he's the one that's in power. Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. And, he has power over the earth. That's why these different news agencies, news companies, there's ABC, CNN, MSN, NBC, whatever you want to go to, these major news outlets are all bought off, right? The international bankers then bought them off. If you notice, you check out, ABC News, then you look at NBC News, it's like they're saying the same thing because it's the same script because they have to say the same thing. The things that they can report on, things that they cannot report on. Things that they can say, things that they can't say. Why? Because the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. All right? So this place is through. This place is through. All right? So people, you don't have the ability to speak freely. These different celebrities and different individuals that people look up to, they're all scumbags. They've done no righteousness. All right? All they do is filth. Revelation 18 and verse where is it? Speaks about Revelation 18:23, and the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. In other words, America is going to be destroyed with nobody left. The only ones who are going to make it is the elect, because they'll be up within the ships. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. And that's what this devil thrives on, sorcery, witchcraft, right? Whether it's your presidents, your vice presidents, your congressmen, your Senate House, whether it's your basketball players, all right, your NBA players, your NFL players, your NHL players, your singers, your rappers, your actors and actresses, all right? These different people who have made it in this society and are constantly on the news or are famous for this, that, or the third. Your comedians, your entertainers, those guys are involved in this world, all right? In the wickedness of this world. They've made it. In order for you to make it, guess what? You got to do certain things. There's a reason why Joe Rogan's in the White House. Matthew 4. I'm just going to hit the point. Matthew 4 and verse 8. Again, the devil taketh them up into an exceeding high mountain, and showeth him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them, and saith unto him, all these things will I give thee, if thou wilt fall down and worship me. That's how these different individuals got, the glory, the fame, the adoration, the money, the popularity. They got these different things because they're involved in that wicked side, in those sorceries, in witchcraft, and wickedness. All right.